Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me just check. Can everybody put in the chat if they can see us?
What's up, guys? What's up, everybody? I
Let
don't
me
know
just.
why on my view I can't be seeing the chat. I'm about to see get on Facebook
I
though.
have it on the screen now, so technically, as people come in and comment, it should populate on the screen. I still think it's like a 10-second delay or something. Is what I saw, but
Click on the comment.
we should see us.
What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Can you guys say hello in the chat? Just let us know you see us and you hear us, and we're gonna jump right into this week's juicy letter. Tell us where you're watching from also. If you guys don't know, my son lives in Houston. So I know we had some people checking in from Houston, and our letter this week is actually from anonymously someone in Houston area. So just let us know where you are checking in and where you're watching us from. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Let me ask my daughter if she could see the chat, just so we can make sure.
Yeah, I think Julie's in here. Let me see though.
We're streaming on Facebook and YouTube today. So if you don't have Facebook and you want to watch the replay, then go over to MacArthur Realty Group page on YouTube.
I am trying to get on my
Well, she's saying let her refresh, so let's make sure she can see us. Everybody
okay.
can see.
Let's see.
No, she said she could see us. Yay! Okay, okay, we're rolling this week. All right, do you want to dive right in?
What's up, Josie? Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it. And just watch the chat while I read the letter. All right. So the subject for this week's letter is love, lies, and luxury apartments.
It says, Josie, put something in the chat really quick,
Okay.
just so I can make sure. You can see the chat.
Yeah, I can see the chat.
I don't know why I can't.
Josie's saying she can't type in the chat on YouTube. She might have to have a channel. She don't have Facebook. She don't have um she don't have YouTube. She don't have Facebook.
It's okay. Maybe Facebook can do it. You can go ahead and read the letter though.
All right, let me get started. So, subject love, lies, and luxury apartments. So, dear Dr. Ebb and I Am Brand CEO, I'm coming to you guys because I am at a total breaking point and I don't know who to trust. I've been with my partner for 4 years and we just got engaged. He's a visionary, always talking about the next big real estate play and getting into the stock market. On the outside, we look like a power couple. We're currently looking at luxury condos to buy, but here's the problem. Every time we sit down to talk about the mortgage application, he forgets his login info and says his credit is frozen because of technicalities. Well, I did some digging. I found a collection notice tucked inside a magazine in his car. It turns out while I've been disciplined, saving my 20%, keeping my credit score in the 800s, and sticking to a strict budget, he's been living a champagne life on a Kool-Aid budget. His credit is in the low 500s because of some failed business ventures he never told me about. He wants us to get married and have me put my name on the house for now while he builds his credit score back up. He says if I love him, I'll trust his financial comeback. But Dr. Ed, how can I get on the same page with a spouse who is reading a completely different book? And to I Am Brand CEO, how do I protect my own brand and credit from sinking with his ship? Am I being a supportive partner or am I being a financial fool? Signed, High Interest in Houston.
I'll go first.
Okay.
First, I don't think that she's being a financial fool. I really think that it was, I guess, a lack of communication. I guess. I mean, I guess she could be more aware. Like if you're in a relationship with your partner, you should be more aware. Now you just finding out all of these secrets and stuff. But I mean, if he putting that in the magazine and all of that, like if you've been with somebody for that long, you shouldn't even have to think, oh, let me search inside the bag of chips and find the notices and all of that in there. So I feel like she's not a financial fool, but also for her question to me, I feel like she can separate her businesses from what he has going on just by, like I said, communication. I feel like their relationship had a big lack of communication where he might have, and I don't know the reasoning, he might have felt like as though he couldn't talk to her about it and stuff. But I mean, if y'all been with each other for 4 years, then you got to have those tough conversations, especially financially when you're talking about marriage and you talking about, getting a house together and all of that. I would say I wouldn't just, if I was her, put the house in my name and you just living all in there like like it's yours. Like as a man, you shouldn't even want to, be thinking about moving forward with marriage and putting the house in there. You need to get yourself together and get your credit score above 500 before you thinking about you about to buy a wedding ring and all of that.
Yeah, that's
So
like the
that's just
22 fake out a
my
little bit.
first short take on what she had to say.
Kind of like put it in. If you just put everything in your name, and be a supportive partner, I'm get back on my feet pretty soon. So
Yeah.
the only thing, all right, I'll give my take. So the only thing that the letter doesn't really talk about, I don't think they mentioned their age. So to me, that plays a significant factor because not saying I would agree to put everything in your name no matter what the age is, but is this the mindset of a younger person that's trying to, made some credit mistakes and they're trying to get on their feet? Or is this the old fool that's playing some old games? That really matters because ain't nothing worse than an old fool. So I mean, fool me once, fool me twice. So
What do you say on Martin? He say old fools. They used to be young fools.
Yeah, it's like if this is 70s baby, then no, it just depends on. So they still trying to buy their first place. And even with them saying they're buying their first place, that really doesn't determine age. So that's a big factor for me personally. However, being someone who works with my husband in business, then I will definitely say that being on a different page in life financially is just never going to pan out properly. Like you really, really have to be on the same page. And just being a real estate broker, I just see so many couples that are total opposites when it comes financially. Like it's always one person has the credit, one person has the money. And they want to mesh those two together to say, like, can we qualify? Even though I have, even if someone is a 6-figure earner, I make 100,000, but I have a 500 credit score with collections, all these other things. The other person has a 700 credit score, but they make 20,000, and they want to combine that 500 to the 700, and now all of a sudden it works, but it doesn't really work like that. And when you find those couples that are truly like equally yoked financially, which is few and far between, that's when you start really talking power couples. I know she said, from the outside looking in that they are power couples. So I'm assuming they have all the fancy stuff, all the sparkly things. So I'm assuming, they have the cars, they have the dresses,
Right.
they probably have the fashions. Because why would people see you guys as a power couple just from the outside looking in? Like it has to be something that you guys are doing, giving off, that we're this power couple and we doing so well, even though, at night he's sneaking to the car to put his credit file up in the magazine,
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you too. Like what you think about him like not being open about, his financial struggles and stuff like that, or how big is that in a relationship, or how deep into the relationship should you be to even, you know, bring finance to the table? Or because I know, I mean, I'm not gonna say I know, but I could probably take a guess that a good amount of guys out here, especially 20s, early 30s, they might, you know, act like they got it more than what they do have it. So, you know, you might have it for a date, or we just went to this nice date, and then when he go home, his lights ain't even on. So that's just an example or something. But like when he go home, you know, he might be eating a turkey sandwich tomorrow. He just used his last just to go on a, you know, a date with you. Mm-hmm. So how does that work in terms of age range? Like, is that fine for, you know, a 21-year-old guy to be doing that in a relationship, or should he just, you know, be open from the jump?
I mean, if they want to really grow together, I'm going to always say be open from the jump, because if she has these skills already, she's keeping her credit score in the 800s. She has money saved. You know, she said she has 20% of her income tucked away. So I would even lean on that person versus hiding it. Like if they know some financial literacy a little better than you, then, especially if you're younger, then you honestly get a little pass. That's why age matters to me, because I have so many clients that say, you know, my parents never taught me financial literacy. I don't know how to save. I don't know what credit is. I don't know what budgeting is. You know, I just had a long conversation with a client today, the difference between different square footage in a property. Like people just don't naturally know that. So it's like, if you have a partner that you are seeking marriage and marriage minded in eventually, then lean on that person. It's not necessarily a slight on you that you just didn't know, but the hiding and all that is kind of where things come into play. Because it's like, do you want to get better, or you rather just move forward with all of these secrets and lies, just like the title of the letter? And then, you know, I'm thinking we moving in one direction and we really not. So that's a main reason why I wouldn't recommend getting no house in my name and all of those things, because you're not even being truthful. Like you're hiding things. So then I'm gonna move forward and your habits may still be there. So that's gonna be the biggest problem for me, is they need to really have a sit down and pull them finances out. Like the paperwork don't lie, you know, pull them statements out, pull them credit card statements out. You know, now it's 2026, do that background, get on that background and see what's going on.
So you don't think it's completely over for them though? Like, yeah, advice to her would basically be, you know, have the sit down. How much time would you tell her to, you know, give him if they are gonna have a sit down in order to fix things? Because like you said, it's 2026, a 500 credit score. Like, what have you been doing these 4 years?
I mean, I don't think it's completely over for them, but again, the age gonna matter to me the most.
She should have said how old or gave an age range.
Yeah, because again, 20s. I'm a true believer that your 20s is for, you know, working as hard as you possibly can. 30s is when you know, educate yourself as much as you can in your 20s, work hard, stack up, so forth. So, you know, the 30s is when now you're starting to learn as much as you can. You're starting to implement those things. You know, by the time you get into 40s, it should typically be, you know, you scaling with all the knowledge that you have now. You know, if I could take all the knowledge I have now and take it back into my 20s, when I already kind of had a money mindset, then it would just be, you know, so if you already know these things, you know, so age to me really matters. So I'm not going to say it's over, but again, if these some 70 babies, if you 50 plus and he hiding stuff in the car, then
it don't sound like they an older couple, but then again, you don't know, like the magazines, but I don't know, that's something that a young fool might do. Like, well, she's not gonna look in the magazine. That's just crazy. Like, you going to high extents to, you know, hide stuff that might potentially jeopardize or help our future together. So
yeah, it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't seem to me that, you know, they are an older couple. So I'm just hoping that they are a younger couple, because again, I don't think that it's the end, but it's the sneakiness and the high, and like it's really hard to build on the same page. But I will say that, again, just being in the industry, I'm not surprised. Like this a real life scenario, because I see people do it all the time. Like I've had situations in real estate where, you know, spouses are hiding things from the other person and, you know, got money tucked away. Or, you know, the famous quote is, you know, we can afford this house, but then the wife calls me, or the fiance, she might call me behind the scenes like, but I want to get something that I can afford by myself, just in case. You know what I'm saying? It's always
See?
just in case. Like, I feel like so many of our women are setting up that backup plan. And even if they never leave, they just want to make sure, you know, so it's not always about, let me piggyback on that. It's not about leaving the relationship, because most of the time that's not going to happen. What the major concern that I see for women in this situation is that for some reason, if their dude is hiding magazines and, you know, things ain't right, they just want to make sure they can sustain the family. They want to make sure they can still make that payment. They can keep things afloat because they already know who they got is a little shaky. So, you know, and vice versa. You know, I rarely see men purchasing homes independently by themselves. It's typically women that are out there. So I love to see when men really step up to the plate and they're like, hey, you got it all together. So the ladies really hold it down. At least in my market with real estate, the ladies hold it down. I'm not sure on your side with, you know, all the stocks and Forex trading, do you get more women that's interested or men, or like a balance? But ladies seem to always hold it down, and they always want to make sure that they are in a comfortable state with all of their bills before they lock in too much.
Yeah, I would say on far as like the trading side, it's probably equal, half men, half women. Just depends who, you know, take that risk and that leap of faith into, you know, putting their money into different stocks or trading investments and stuff like that. But I will say women are usually more consistent, easier to teach, will learn quicker because they have, I guess you can say, like more patience. Like they'll, you know, they willing to sit down and learn, rather versus a guy's like, you gotta make sure he got time, or like, hey, you need to be sitting down with your undivided attention at this time. You can't get on for 30 minutes and then you gotta go do this every two. So, and I also feel like for the fellas, like if you are out there in a relationship, or, you know, looking to build something financially with another person, like make sure that you providing a secure environment for them. You know, you don't want to be even having your woman out here doing this and she got an 800, 700 credit score and she's saving up doing her part, and now, you know, you're not bringing your into the table, because that can go over to, you know, psychological stuff and all other type of stuff, because now she don't think that she got somebody that's secure behind her. So now, like my mother was saying, like now she thinking like, oh, I need to make sure I got my own stuff now. So I'm saying that a lot more too, like women wanting to be, you know, more independent and have their stuff, and not just independent as far as like, oh, we don't need the guys, but like just in case something may go left, I need to make sure that I'm always straight.
Yeah, just in case. And like you said, to piggyback off of your last statement, you know, if you have one person in a relationship that is, again, had that mindset, it's not mandatory that the other person also had the mindset. Like I always just learned in, oh, hey, Stay, I see Stasia in here.
What's up, Stay?
What I've learned in my 20 plus years of marriage is that, you know, my dad told me this as a teenager. When you come into a relationship, these are two totally separate people from two totally different walks of life, raised differently, morals and values could be similar, but nothing's going to be exactly the same. That's just like if you are co-parenting, what's happening over at this house ain't happening over at this house, no matter what. Even if you think y'all are on the same page, it's still going to be different. So then you're bringing these two different, completely separate walks of life together, and you're putting them in a house, in a home to raise a family, deal with the economy, everything that's happened politically, religious, like all of those things, spirituality, and you're trying to combine two totally separate people. So that's already going to be, you know, a lifelong challenge, and especially if they're looking to grow in marriage. So if you have that person that has those skills and you don't, I always feel like it's okay. The issue is when you're not leaning on that knowledge because you want to be better and you want to grow. Like if you just still, again, age won't matter for me. So if you are, you know, 40 plus years old and you still out there, you spending, you don't care about credit cards, you're not paying your bills, and you just stressing the other partner out. Like even if it's the male or female, the other person just feel like every time I turn around, you know what I'm saying, the other partner doing something and it's not on the same page. To me, that's where the biggest problem is going to come in. Like you got to get as close as possible to sit down and, I mean, start with that budget, start with putting everything on the table. What's all the debt that we have or something? So if she has that information, then she can help. And honestly, another thing is if she got this 20%, if he being honest, she could really help him out a little bit. You know, I have situations like that. If the guy got $10,000 worth of debt, but I got 20 saved and I'm in this for the long haul, give him the 10, let him get cleaned up so that he can get his score where it need to be. You still got 10 sitting, and now it'll free up a bunch of his income so that y'all can start building together. Like, to me, that's the strategy. I just, everything works out better when you work together. When you start doing things separately, that's when it's going to turn into a mess.
Yeah, I agree. That was great right there. I hope y'all was listening to that. That was a great take, and I definitely feel like that's one of the biggest things, just being on the same page. Like, it's a difference if we on the same page and I'm trying to, do what we agreed upon, and I'm just, maybe hitting a roadblock or coming across a few obstacles, or, stuff happens. I might have had to pay this or get your car out the tow. There's different stuff that might come up, but as long as y'all on the same page, then y'all understand that. But if you just out here willy-nilly spending, like you were saying, and just, acting like, oh yeah, I put the $1,000 up, I put it up there, and you didn't put it there, then that's, something completely different than, being on the same page and being upfront and honest.
Yeah, and part of her question was like, how do I protect my brand and my credit from sinking with his ship? And the easiest way, honestly, is with communication. Now, I am one of those people that...
Hey, Julesy.
Hey, Julesy. I am one of those people where, I know people say communication is the key. I'm really not that a believer of communication is the key, because it's always a black, white, and gray area when it comes to communication. Because if you talking until literally you blue in the face and the other person ain't listening and it's going nowhere, it's not only communication, it's an understanding. It's so many other things that comes along with communication. Just talking. Maybe that's the Leo in me, but a lot of talking ain't going to get me nowhere. I can't just be talking for years. If we not implementing some things, then that's going to be a problem, but it has to start with communication. So now, and honestly, Monte, we didn't even talk about this part of it. She literally went digging in his car. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it got to be done. That's why I was saying, if the guy don't set a foundation where the woman feels secure, then now it's going to be psychological aspects. Like, now she thinking like, let me go see what this month. Let me go check for myself. Like, if you want something right, do it yourself. Let me go see with my own two eyes what's really going on. He telling me it's there, but it ain't adding up. So let me go see.
So honestly, and think about it, if somebody's snooping.
My God, Smooth, appreciate you for tapping in, bro.
Yes, thanks for being here.
That's one of my college teammates from Penn State.
Oh, okay.
My boy.
Yeah, I was about to say, if she already did snooping, she ain't only snooped in the car, she just found something in the car. So as soon as he get in the shower, she in the phone, she under the bed, she in the mattress. I mean, she everywhere, because, you're going to snoop until you find what you're looking for. That's how I feel about it. Like, I'm not a snooper, looker, this and that, because that's typically what I see in relationships, is that people want to snoop until they find it. So Lord knows all the places that she's been looking and snooping and so forth. And now she in the car in a random magazine. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like...
Stay talking about in the shoebox.
How did that happen?
Yeah, I feel like it's also with the communications, like how you were saying, if you just talking and they not even listening. Like, it's one thing if somebody don't get it and you trying to help them out, but another thing, like, if I just keep telling you the same thing over and over and you just keep not listening to it or being receptive or even trying to understand it, like, I feel like that's also a respect thing. Like, at this point, you heard what I said, what the goal is, and you still buying Jordans, like you still gonna go get new rims or go get this and that. You're not willing to cut back for the sake of the team. I feel like it all come back to a team and a plan. So I feel like if you keep telling somebody the same thing over and over, and it's dealing with something as far as like your finances, your future, and your life, especially in a long-term relationship, like, y'all might got to sit down and have a conversation about respect as well. Because what are you doing?
Yeah. If you, I do agree. It's going to turn into a sinking ship if they don't get it together, because it's just going to be too hard to be successful. And I just see it too many times, again, just in the real estate world, where so many relationships that we encounter, one person is really trying to fight for the relationship. I mean, I encounter people at our seminars that are like, I want home ownership so bad, but my husband, he don't want no parts of it. He not going to agree to it. He not going to help me do it. So, sometimes they may feel as though I'm just going to do it on my own. And that's when we start seeing people that's couples and only one person even on the deed, because that person might feel like, listen, I done saved up my money, this, that, and the other. I'm not putting you on my house, like just in case, I want to possibly leave to my children. You didn't help out, but that mindset, and we talk about that all the time, the money mindset, that's really the game changer and everything. And that's why I really wanted to do this with you, with your mental health background, because like mindset is everything. Like really ask those questions coming in the door, because if somebody's mind don't even want it, like it's different from implementation. But if you don't even want better for yourself, which is so many people,
like, hey, just get from around. Don't even come around here.
If you don't even want better for yourself, like I would rather even have that dreamer that's just like keep saying we're gonna be in a mansion and we're gonna be, in a Maybach or something. Like keep boosting us up, the envision. You know what I'm saying? Like speak that into us, speak that life into us. But if you just like, I ain't buying no house, it's a scam. I ain't into no real ain't no stock market. But you like you said, but you see them gambling, they on trips. Every time y'all take a vacation, it got to be financed where, you underwater with payday loans. And I had somebody recently reach out to me and ask me, is one of my landlords accepting flexible rent payments? And I was going to put it on my chat because I'm like, listen, y'all know I'm an 80s baby. I just learned about Klarna and Afterpay and all that stuff recently, and all that it got going on. I don't know all the stuff. So I had to ask the person, like, explain to me what is flex rent? Like, am I still getting my rent on the first of the month? Like, just how am I getting paid?
Yo, one of my mans was just telling me that he be using the flex rent. He's like, yeah, I'll be using the flex rent.
Yeah, apparently it's something really popular. And honestly, I don't have a problem with it as the landlord, as long as I'm getting my money. So that's why I wanted to know, explain to me. I wasn't even really, I wasn't putting them down at all. I'm like, explain to me what that means. So they were saying that with the flex rent company, you make different payments with them, but they will pay the landlord like all on the first, or at least, before it's late. And then the tenant will have payments. But to me, that's also like, well, how long you gonna do that? Because if you do that for a year, you're almost gonna be paying your rent every week. Like it's like, how it is.
It's like you putting something down, like you be paying half or putting an increment. And I don't use it, so I can't really give a perspective on like if it is beneficial or not. But for the people that I heard that said they use it, they said that it actually helped them with their finances. I don't know how they got their budgeting system. I guess if it works for you, it works for you, or But I think they kind of was trying to break it down where as though instead of giving like 90% of your check, I guess they just section it off to give, okay, I'm gonna give 30% this week, I'm gonna give 30% this week, and I guess my last bill might be 10% or something if you're doing 3 increments or something like that. So I don't know.
Like, is it ever a time where I like sometimes where I have a week and I'm not paying bills? Like, is it ever a week that I guess from my perspective, I would be like, is it a week when you get the mail and you just no bills is in there and you just like nothing this week?
Yeah, don't gotta pay nothing at all.
Like you constantly, like your rent is due every week. Like even though they're breaking it down, or every 2 weeks your rent is due. So I guess if it comes out automatically and how they have it set up. But that was my first time having somebody ask me that, like how, does the landlord accept flex pay for the rent? But I'm like, well, if the landlord doesn't even see it and that's just something you have set up behind the scenes, then I guess it wouldn't even matter. Like as long as, and maybe that's even more guarantee. Is that the new Section 8? Like, do I know they?
Yeah, like if you're doing it the flex way, then at least I'm gonna get mine. So I hope you pay it back to the company. But as long as your landlord getting that money and it's working out for you. So, but how long do you want to is it that working? Do you just stay on it? Is the goal to get off of flex rent? Like how does that work? Is that a short-term thing fix? Is it long-term?
Yeah, I'm assuming, and it's just me, again, I just learned about Klarna and Afterpay, so this is just my thought process. I'm assuming it was created to be a rescue plan if you get into a tight budget, but we all know people gonna use it for like every day. They
That's what I'm saying. Even if it's a rescue plan, and then Like, let's say somebody did need a full rescue plan and it did work out. Now they like, okay, I might go ahead and keep doing that. But it's like you might need to be a little bit more, not even more disciplined, just, put yourself in a position where, though, you don't always got to make sure that, oh, I owe the flex people this week. I owe the flex people this week. Like you said, I'll pay I got these bills for this week, and next week I don't got to worry about no bills at all. I
Yeah,
put
and
my
is it
money into
interest
this
like?
investments, this and that.
Yeah, that's what I want to know too. And I didn't even ask that question. Like, is it interest? Because I don't want to pay interest on my rent. I don't want to be paying 10% or something. And next thing you know, 1,800 is really 2,200 just because they're breaking it down. It's an illusion of progress, but it's not really true progress. So I'm going to look into that because I was just asked that like a day or two ago. And I was just like, explain to me you're going to have to explain to me and break that down.
Yeah.
Like I've never even had anybody ask me that before. But as a landlord, I'm gonna have to get with the game also because if it's other resources that people can use, and again, if it's more like guaranteed on my end, and you can show me that you set up on it. I don't know, do they make you set up the whole lease or 6 months or something where I know they're gonna guarantee to send over my money or something? Then it may be an option. I don't know.
Yeah, I was about to say it might be better for on all party sides. Like if you can't get it done for this, 90 days here, because let's say you have a tenant or somebody who doesn't know about Flex. Now you might get introduced to them, and that might can help them, get back on track or be able to, at least pay their bills and stuff on time.
Yeah, I agree. So I think this week we had a really, really good, strong letter. Do you want to add anything else to the letter before we do a little bit of quick hits?
Yeah, that was a good one. No, we can get into the quick hits. Do anybody got any questions? If y'all got any questions, anything, y'all can drop it in the chats. We definitely appreciate y'all. Tongue tied. We definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in today. But we can get into the quick hits and stuff. I can go first with the quick hits as well. I actually got just something that I want to just throw out there. That's not really advice, but I just want people to think about this and also hear, what your feedback is on it. So I was watching, y'all know Earn Your Leisure, my podcast. I was watching Earn Your Leisure this morning, Troy and Rashad up there, and they basically was talking about when you start to learn and understand money is when you realize that money is not to be hoarded, basically. Like money is meant to circulate from person to person, and that's how we can generate wealth through each other. Like don't try to, for 12 months, yes, it's good to have a savings, but you don't want to, I'm just going to put my money under the mattress and just leave it there. Like once you start learning that, okay, I have this money under the mattress and now I can let it circulate, to the world from person to person and start investing and stuff like that. That's when you fully understand, creating generational wealth. So that was just one of my quick hits that I had. It just stuck with me this morning when I first woke up. I had heard that. I'm like, let me write this down.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that perspective because I know who Earn Your Leisure is, but technically I don't watch them. So that wouldn't be a perspective that I don't think I've heard. But however, when I do my seminars, one thing that I always say is that you're never, ever, ever going to build wealth by just saving. You have to invest. So the money can't sit under the mattress. I know that people still do that. And I know I don't trust the banks and old school. And it's good to, if you have your investments where it need to be and you have something kind of set away for some pocket money and a safe in the house and you old school, that's one thing. But if you have no investments out there and you just got money sitting in the safe at the house, then you're actually hurting yourself and hurting your family. Like you're never going to build wealth by only saving. You must invest. Nobody's going to save their way to wealth. It's just not going to work. I don't care. Your 9 to 5, how much you making, your business. If you just put in the money, either like you said, under the mattress in a standard savings account, like it has to be invested. You have to be getting some kind of return on the money. And you have to be, when I like to invest, I like tangible things. So not only do I like, my standard investments, but even when I bought my vending machine, things like that, I like to see my money a little bit. So, or even real estate, if I get a certain amount saved in my investment account, I have those minimum barriers, but I'm going to go take it to the next level of investment. So I like to go make purchases, start new businesses, things that are going to grow my money really in my sleep. That's really what my goals always are. So that's why I always say, it's a ton of different ways to build wealth. I just do it through real estate because I am at a stage in my life where I want to be making the money in my sleep. even when I create courses and books and things like that, if you guys don't know, I'm a seven-time self-published author. Monte's a 2-time self-published author. So, those are things that we talk about, because once you create those things and you take time and you invest into it, it costs money to self-publish a book. But once you do it that one time around, you now are it's scaling and growing. It's out there in the world forever. Royalties from it, even if it's on Amazon, you're going to get those royalties from it as long as it's in the atmosphere. You could be gone generation after generation. If your book is still out there, your publishing still out there, then nobody can't take it away from you. So I'm always looking at avenues once I get a certain amount of money, not only to invest it where it's growing for me, but also looking at different ventures where I can continue to grow it in my sleep versus even just letting it all sit in an investment account. I want some tangible things, and I like to diversify.
Yeah, that's actually crazy you said that, because my guy that I was telling you about, that his mom working like the Pittsburgh school district, I was saying he want me to bring my books and stuff down there to like get it into the schools. He on here right now, smooth. And I see my guy Jamil in here too. What's up, Mil?
Okay, thanks for tuning
in.
in.
Mil, appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I literally just got an email today. I'm already a vendor on Prince George's County list for my books, and I just got an email today for Baltimore City for a middle school, and the principal reached out and wanted to purchase a lot of my books for me to come up to one of their career days next month. So I'm going to follow up with him. He just told me send him my W-9 and they can buy a ton of books, where I'm just like, see, now when that opportunity presents itself, now I'm not scraping and scrambling trying to figure out things. I have things that I took time to put in place. So it might take a little bit of time to structure the courses, the books, and whatever other things that you want to do. Even, people come to the office, they like, I love your vending machine. I own everything in there. I own all the furniture. I own my copy machine. Like, all of those things are investments. I can easily lease that stuff out. A lot of times you go to offices, their commercial copy machines are being leased. I own mine. So I really took some investment to be like, hey, I want to make sure that when I get a certain amount of savings, then I'm making the money work for me. Because even like I said, the vending machine inside the brokerage, I can just be asleep and somebody can go in there, make a purchase, and I see a ding on my phone. I want to be making the money work for me. So I always say, you're never going to build wealth by just saving
money. Yeah. Mil said, I'm trying to get like my Dukes. We needed this valuable information. You heard of Mil talking about 7-time published authors. She popped it real quick.
I mean, you have to invest. You have to be investing in something. Like, your money just sitting somewhere is a waste. And I always challenge people when I have my seminars through my nonprofit organization. I always will say, just challenge yourself. Go home, because most people don't do this. So you have to tell people and kind of guide them, because most people don't know the answer. Go home, look at your actual savings account. At the end of 12 months, see what your interest is. It's typically no more than 10 cents all year. Like, I don't even care if you have $20,000 in there. You may have 50 cents. That is not, you're not going to build wealth like that. Like, you have to be investing. You have to educate yourself so that you're comfortable on where you're putting your money and so forth. Because what I see from my perspective is the main thing is the education. So obviously that's why I wanted to, start our sessions back up for Finance Friday, get that money mindset going, because most people just don't know. So they really need the information. They want to do it. I've never met a person that don't want to try to invest, if they have the information. Even when people say to me, my spouse don't really want to do it. To me, it's always an educational piece. It's always some lack there with their education. If I meet their spouse and, they sit around me for 20 minutes and I start talking to them, I typically can have them on board. I don't know how you could get them on board for 30 years, but
now they ready to make moves.
Absolutely. They like, listen, let me try to see what I can do. And you just change my whole perspective on investing.
Yes, ma'am. She said you cannot make money. Yep. Just saving you cannot make money with just saving. You have to invest. Yes, I seen a statistic this week or last week. I think it was recently though, and they were saying that almost 98% of total billionaires in the world today do not have less than 1% of money or less than 10% of money actually in their account. Like, their money is in stocks and stuff. I know Jeff Bezos, he's in Tesla and stuff. And if Jules is still in here, for people that's in like Jules' age range, even they said Mr. Beast only has 1% of his money in his account. Like technically on paper, he's a billionaire because all of his companies are worth $1 billion. But Mr. B say that he asks people for money because he broke.
I was about to say that's the main thing. Like once you know you reach that level is when you control everything, but you own nothing. So they're walking around saying they broke because technically you go to pull them up, it's no money in their name. They don't even hold things in their name. They have all of these things in corporations, trusts, sub-trusts, like everything is set up, you know, to where it's nothing in my name to even turn around. You know, I don't own anything. You know, when I have my seminars, I tell people all the time.
Jules don't know Mr. Beast.
Technically on paper, I mean, like, I don't own any of my properties. My trust owns all the properties and I own the trust. So technically, you know, you want to bring it, you know, to that extent, but you know, I try nothing. I haven't gotten paid in my name and my social security number in probably 2013 or something. Like I don't even get money in my name. So it's no way that can be tracked like through my name. I don't have any money that comes through and it's actually in my name. It's all going through different entities. So like once you get to that next level, then you can really get into investing. But again, most people don't even know how to set all those things up. You know, sometimes I have people that's like, I don't even know how to set up an LLC. And I'm like, wait a minute, don't pay nobody $300 to do that. You could do that on the Maryland website in 10 minutes. Like,
Mill said, my question is, do you recommend using the bank money to invest in real estate or using my own money? I'll let Broker answer that.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Mill actually have, I'm sorry, Ma, I didn't mean to cut you off. Mill actually have his real estate license. I believe he got it in North Carolina.
Okay. Congratulations.
Shout out to Mill.
Industry professional. I'm licensed in Maryland, DC, Virginia, and Pennsylvania as a broker. Now, what I would say is that what I hear a lot of people on the podcast, and my sons send me stuff all the time. They always send me clips and say, like, Mom, tell me what the real is. The truth is a lot of things that they are saying are partially true. You would just have to have the education to know what is true and what is not. So it depends on, are you talking about investing or owner occupied? But I will say in general, you always are required to bring some of your own money. So even if you are tapping into other people's money, other people's credit, what they don't tell you is that you're not going to go far getting anything without any of your own money. So the answer is you can wrap in the whole renovation into the loan. You can do all of those things. But what the illusion is they're telling people that you don't need any of your own money. And that is where it's false. You know, even with Baltimore, being born and raised in Baltimore, I get calls all the time about the mayor's dollar homes. Nobody read the fine print. His dollar home program says that you must have $90,000 liquid in order to even be in the lottery for the dollar homes. People just saw that and thought that they were like, it's dollar homes available. Do you have $90,000 of your own money? And technically, with most of my strategies, if you got $90,000, I can probably get you 2 to 3 properties versus just one. It's just that a lot of them are shells of a home, so they may need 150, 170,000 to go into them. But you will still always need some of your own money, because even with a lot of these private money loans, hard money, DCSR, I do a lot of those products, and a lot of the investors even want to see you have 12 months of the mortgage payment while you're doing the renovation sitting in your account as a reserve. So even at minimum, if someone was supposed to, you know, do a large amount of, you know, I haven't seen 100% financing since before the market crash. So even if you have to put 10% down, I do have some investors that put 10% down for first-time investors, but on top of the 10%, like I said, they want to see if your mortgage payment while you're doing that renovation, because you still want to have even if it's an interest only payment, if it's $600, they want to see 12 months of that $600 already sitting in a bank account to know you got it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have your own money already. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah. And I feel like all of that just came around full circle, honestly, like from the original letter of her, you know, asking about her and her, you know, significant other or her spouse's future husband, like their situation and trusting each other with money and stuff. And then we just piggyback right onto the money mindset. And, you know, I know it look good to do this with the money and all of that, but like make sure we putting it places that's going, you know, actually matter and stuff. And I feel like without people, people that look like us, it's always he said, yeah, that did. Thank you, I appreciate it. People that look like us, I will say, I just gotta throw this out there real quick before we wrap. So like, if your cousin could reach out to you today, your cousin you ain't talked to in 4 years or something, and say, hey, cuz, can you send me 500 real quick? You probably gonna be a little hesitant, like, I don't know, I'm not sending him no, like, I don't even know if I'm gonna get this money back. But if Mr. Beast reach out to you and say, hey, can you send me 5,000 real fast, and you never met Mr. Beast a day in your life, it's probably like people in the other communities. That's why they able to recycle money and share it and stuff like that. And this one guy, Alex FG, he's a forex trader, and he got this one friend, this one homeboy, and they always be joking around on Instagram and stuff. And his friend will call him like, bro, I need you to wire me 250,000 right now. Like, I got this set up. It's on TradingView right now. I see it. And he like, you need me to send it though? And he like, yeah, I'm telling you, this the setup. Like, it's about to go up there. Like, it's about to do it. And it's like, I feel like we can't get that in our community. One, because we don't trust enough, and because the people around us, like, we got to make sure our surroundings are like-minded individuals and stuff. You should be able to want people in your circle that's like, okay, let me hold 200K till Friday, and trust that oh, he about to go, he gonna get that back and stuff. So just remember, money is not meant to be hoarded. Money is meant to be circulating through people in order to create generational wealth. That was my quick hit for the day.
Yeah, I think that was a really good quick hit. And the only quick hit I have is just a trending update with the real estate market, is that on Monday, February 23rd, federal down payment and grant money is back. We have not had federal money to purchase a home in a long time, because all the federal money is typically forgivable. Okay, Martin.
Mill, you see me. Y'all see me, T. She said that grant money back.
Grant money is back. First time home buyers, second time home buyers. It is essential employees. If you are anything essential, since COVID, we can pretty much get almost anything approved to be essential. So give us a call. But federal grant money runs out so fast because it has that forgiveness aspect to it. With state money, oftentimes have to be forgiven. So you got to be very careful when you're getting this down payment assistance money, because most times you got to pay it back. So if you ever sell that house, they want their money back. Westmore want his money back. Any transaction you make, Westmore want his money back. You get state grants. It's not that they are not helpful, and if you need the down payment assistance programs, they're not there for you to utilize, but just make sure that you're being smart about when you're moving forward. And if you can tap into this federal money, again, typically most of it is forgiven at the closing table. Some of it has a 5-year forgiveness or a 10-year forgiveness. So that's all it is. If you stay in the house for 5 years and you get $20,000 from them, you don't have to pay a penny of it back. And some of the money, if you get $20,000, is forgivable again at the closing table. So it truly can become free money. And I say, Monte, nothing in this world is free.
Nothing word is free.
So it may come with, and just to be transparent, the way the government gets their money back is possibly through another 0.25% in the interest rate or things like that. But again, it's $20,000 that somebody didn't have, and you can easily take that money and that property and convert it in the future to your first investment property, and it's little out of your pocket. So February 23rd, federal money is back. I believe for 2025, we got federal money mid-March. End of April, I think it was gone, and we never got any federal money back.
February 23rd.
February 23rd. So if you want to do an application, you want to even see where you stand, if you want to get on a home ownership plan, please feel free to reach out to me, because, I truly get passionate when I see the federal money coming, because I know it can benefit, just like Monte said, it can really benefit our people to be able to get into home ownership. And again, it's up to $20,000, and it can be stacked with other programs. So say if you work for Johns Hopkins and you have live near your work can be up to $17,000 plus. So you can stack it on the 20, depending on if you need all of those funds. So definitely look into the federal grant programs, because it's nationwide. They grab it up. So sometimes people be sitting under contract waiting for that money already. You know what I'm saying? So already probably tens of thousands of it just sitting and waiting for Monday just to close, because I used to do that back in the day. I used to have people just sitting and waiting. And when that week came that it hit, add my lender, attach that money, do the housing counseling real quick, and now somebody can use it. So you don't have to be in contract or do the housing counseling prior to applying for the money. You can apply anytime, you can use it anytime, you can find a house and still add the money on there. So that's my quick hit for this evening, is just federal funds are back. Take advantage of them because most of them are forgivable.
And if y'all can repost this, throw this up there on y'all, social medias and stuff, and so that some of y'all people or some of people that y'all may know who maybe looking into getting out, even if you're not ready to buy a house right now, like you're never going to know if you're ready or not, but you can still get the information. You still can see where you are. You still can get your credit scores checked and stuff like that. And don't be afraid to reach out for information, even if you like, well, somewhere down the line I might think about getting a house next year, or I know somebody who was talking about it. Like, you always want to make sure that you got the information. So share this out, and we dropping real gems in here every Friday.
Yep, every Friday we will be here. And again, like Monte said, we thank you guys for tuning in. We like to make this a short Finance Friday, the CEO Lounge segment. Send in your letters. It's been streaming across the feed the entire time. Finance Friday letters@gmail.com. So we can start sifting through some more of these letters, pick some really, really good ones that I think we can have some good conversations about. As you guys know, I love sitting down, just talking to my son about money mindset, because I always say my son is me times 10. You know what I'm saying? If you think I'm a problem in the finance industry, my son be writing his goals down since he was like 16. So he be in high school, writing down his goals, making a list, checking it twice. You know what I'm saying? If he know he gonna get something done before the end of that 12 months, I'd be like, son, just get it done. You know what I'm saying? You set a goal, just get it done. You don't have to be all at one time. Just knock it out little by little. And already, before the age of 30, he a 2-time published author, college graduate. I'm so proud of him. So I thank you again for your time today. Do you have a mental health gem you want to drop on us today? I don't know if you thought about it. I'm putting you on.
I didn't think about one, but honestly, I don't know if y'all watch Grey's Anatomy or not. Jules, I hope you still in here. I'm not calling him McSteamy, but I think his name is like Dean something. It's a famous actor out there that passed away this week. I think yesterday or 2 days ago. He acted more than just Grey's Anatomy, but that's what he really known for. That's what I know him from. He also was in Bad Boys. He played in Bad Boys with Martin. I think Bad Boys for Life, like the last one, whatever the last one is. And he basically left a message to his wife and daughter a couple days before he passed from ALS. And he basically, he was saying a lot of stuff, but basically, I feel like right now the world is very still. Like, every time I look at different pages, different social medias, like a lot of famous people is passing away. A rapper just committed suicide yesterday. So it's like, I feel like just, give people grace, and you never know what people is going through. If somebody might be giving you an attitude or something, like if somebody cut you off this week, don't flip them off or something. Just give them a little bit of grace. Just be kind to people, because I feel like a lot of people out here is really going through a lot, and you would never know, and maybe it's not your business to know, but just make sure you're doing your part of, being understanding and, just, being kind and being genuine to people. So that's my mental health take for this week.
Yeah, I saw his message. So I think that's a great way to end the show today. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Please
appreciate
share,
y'all, man.
Replay. We
definitely back next Friday.
Back next Friday, and we looking to grow this. So we got our technical difficulties worked out, and hopefully we look good on camera and everything is clear.
Jules said he was in Euphoria too. Yeah, appreciate y'all. Thank you everybody for coming on here. Thank you, Mom, taking time out your busy day, getting us back on our grind, back on our groove. That's another thing. Like my mom said, if you got 12 months in the year, you might have some stuff planned that you wanted to already have done by February, March. If it don't happen, it's okay. You get hiccups in the road. Just make sure it gets done. By all means, it got to get done. No matter what time frame, how long it take. If it take you 5 years, just get it done. So we appreciate y'all for y'all time today. We know everybody's time is valuable. And yeah, we see y'all again next Friday. I'm gonna drop the link. My mom dropped the link. Y'all reshare this and everything. And have a blessed day. Y'all be safe.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it.